Hi, it's Mazzeo here at Mazzeo Stoves and Fireplaces in Rockland, Maine, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the benefits of burning cord wood in today's EPA certified wood burning freestanding stoves, fireplace inserts, and zero clearance fireplaces. Now, probably the first reason that people go with wood heat is due to the decor or the ambiance that a wood fire gives. It's really going to add aesthetics to any room or household that you own and give considerable value to your home. This particular freestanding stove by Hearthstone offers a great flame presentation here, and in the wide open air setting here, we can see it's really humming along, but when I vary the flame, primary air control here, I can really get a number of different effects here. In this case here, it's burning off the flue gases through the baffle and stainless steel combustion tubes, and it gives it a really cool effect. In the half open position, you might see different flame effects. So you can really get some cool flame presence in your stove, as well as a lot of heat output. Probably the second biggest reason that people go with wood heat is because it is probably the most affordable fuel source that you can get. Wood heat is going to cost about half as much as propane here in Maine, even if you're burning a Energy Star 85% efficient propane boiler or furnace at $2.86 a gallon, which it currently is. Compared to wood at about $210 a cord, it's going to cost less than half to heat your house with wood. And compared to oil, you're still going to save a good third. The average house here in Maine spends maybe a little over $1,300 a year to heat their home. The average home compared to over $2,600 a year with oil, and over $4,700, $4,800 for propane. So you can save a lot of money with burning wood, particularly if you're harvesting the wood yourself, in which case really it's free and the cost savings are measurable. So those are probably the two biggest reasons. Another big reason why people go with wood heat is because they enjoy the type of heat that it offers. Wood heat is a radiant heat, which means that the radiation waves are going to heat the surfaces around it that it touches, and it's going to warm you. So by comparison, if you're doing forced hot air, for example, that is blowing warm air on you, it doesn't quite have the same effect as sitting near a wood stove and feeling that wood heat actually warm your body. So a lot of people really talk about how they love that wood heat, the feeling of wood heat. And I think what they mean by that is the radiant heat that it offers. Of course, many wood stoves also offer convective heat, where they draw heat in through cast iron plates and then pull it out. And stoves such as this one, which is made out of a very attractive soapstone, really hold the heat for a very long time. So even after the fire has burned down in the wee hours of the morning, that soapstone is going to retain the heat well into the early morning hours, where it's going to radiate. The stovetop temperature of the stove may still be well over 200, 250 degrees, which is warmer than any baseboard heater, which is usually going to be in the 160, 170 degree range for hot water. So today's wood stoves, particularly medium and large stoves like this, will easily achieve overnight burns. This stove here, for example, will burn from 5 p.m. by the time when we leave into the early mornings when we come back into the shop at 8 o'clock in the morning. There's still sufficient coal to rekindle the fire. And that's really thanks in part to the increased technology that the stoves have. Now, another advantage to wood heat is the ease of installation if you have an existing chimney. If you have a chimney already set up, and many old New England homes do have a chimney or a fireplace somewhere in them, all you have to do is set the stove down and connect it with a connector pipe. But there are certain considerations to take into mind. It's not simply as easy as connecting it into a chimney. First of all, you have to make sure that the stove is going to reside a certain distance from combustible material. Now this installation here has no combustible material. It's all stone and brick, but were this a sheetrock wall, or were there wooden trim around here, you'd have to carefully follow the installation instructions and make sure that the stovepipe and the stove reside a certain distance as per manufacturer instructions from combustible material. The same thing applies to the hearth itself, where it's going to be sitting. The hearth has to be of a certain size and must be non-combustible. Certain stoves also require combustible or a certain thermal rating underneath the stove and may require an insulated hearth, known as a type 2 hearth. Lastly, if you do have an old chimney, you want to make sure that the chimney is inspected and that the flue tile liner is intact, it's not cracked or falling out, otherwise your stove your chimney may need to be relined. So provided that you have a hearth and a chimney that's ready to go, installing a wood stove is easy. When it comes to your chimney, if your chimney liner is cracked, relining it with a stainless steel liner and perhaps insulating it can be rather costly. In a time like that, you might want to consider going with a gas stove, because you can line a chimney with an aluminum liner into a gas stove for a fraction of the cost, or you can simply vent your gas stove through an exterior wall. That's something that a lot of people don't know about, when researching whether to go with wood, gas, or pellet, keep that in mind. Another reason why people go with wood stoves is that they will work in a power outage. Here in the mid-coast, we have power outages fairly frequently, and your oil or propane boiler furnace isn't going to work for you. But a wood stove is going to work in a power outage, so you'll have heat for days to come, and you can also do cooking off the stovetop. We have a lot of people who like to have wood stoves as a backup heat source in the event of a power outage. Another good thing about wood stoves is that they're easy to repair yourself. They're relatively low maintenance. Usually the type of maintenance that is going to be required for a wood stove such as this would be the gasketing around the glass doors and the window. So there aren't a lot of moving parts, provided that you're not overheating the stove and you're taking good care of it. The wood stove is going to last for years to come, and it's very easy to maintain. Probably the biggest disadvantages to a wood stove are the obvious ones. They're not going to come on with the push of a button. You're going to have to manually kindle your fire. You're going to have to load the stove. And the size of the firebox and the stove is going to depend largely on how often you have to do this. Even a medium to large size stove such as this one is going to have to be loaded at least twice a day in the really cold winter months. You will get an overnight burn with it, but on those days where it's really cold, below 20 degrees, you're going to want to load it once in the afternoon as well to keep the stovetop temperature up. And lastly, probably one of the biggest disadvantages to the wood stove is the work that's involved in stacking and carrying the wood. So if you're the type of person that doesn't like to stack and carry wood, then probably a wood stove is not going to be for you. So there you have it, the advantages and disadvantages of the wood burning stove here at Mazzeo Stoves and Fireplaces. Thank you very much.